Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Welcome to our webinar series called Expert Speak in association with AAPSC, the International Association for Business Analytics Certification. Today, we start by giving a brief about the speaker for today, Mr. Ganesh Gopal. Ganesh has several years of experience as a technologist and he is currently the co-founder of and CEO at Gnani.ai, which is a voice-first generative AI company with several patents on unique deep tech solutions focusing on exponential revenue growth and a unique customer experience. And today he'll be covering the topic on how AI is transforming customer experience. And just one request to all the participants. Uh, Please post your questions in the chat and we will present it to the speaker at the end of the session. And yeah, over to you, Ganesh.
Hey, thanks for having me here, Ram, and appreciate the audience for coming over to listen to this presentation. I'll try to do justice to this. Forgive me for having this really bad cold, so I'm going to talk in a very interesting accent. So bear with me for that. So today we're going to talk a lot about generative AI and customer experience. Right? Before we get there, I'd like to introduce myself. Basically, a technologist for several years, and worked in the corporate world in companies like IBM, and a very long stint at Texas Instruments, where me and my colleague Anant were involved with a lot of work on the signal processing side. So that kind of attracted us a lot towards the customer experience world. And that's when we started doing, core deep tech in the form of speech engines, core deep tech in form of NLU, and various other stuff, including multiple patents that we got and developed. Over time, we also had this interesting association with Samsung's Bixby. Bixby is Samsung's voice assistant, and we were invested by Bixby and assisted Bixby in in a lot of this the technologies and the patents that we have. So having said that, the last few years we've done some really exciting work in the generative AI space, especially if you look at what's happening with the whole customer experience world. So just to give you an idea of a broad sense, right? There've been chatbots, there've been voice bots, there've been a bunch of these technologies for ages now, right? And what we're going to talk today is on how generative AI has really transformed this space, right? And how the applications that are being developed today are very different to what applications were developed a long time back, right? And the value that overall is provided by, say, the Gen AI, right, in making these applications work and taking them overall to the absolute next level, right? So that's going to be the feature of what I'm going to talk about today. And
Ganesh, are you sharing something? We're not able to see your screen.
I'm just about to share it.
Oh, okay.
So can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to talk about to do a lot of work that is happening in the customer experience world. And before that, brief introduction about us at Gnani.ai. We are industry's most comprehensive B2B CX automation platform. We work with about 50 to 60 customers all across the world, helping them with their customer experience goals using our Gen AI, right? Just to before I get into some of the overall perspectives on customer experience, just a very high-level perspective on where we play in Gnani.ai. So we play across the customer experience world, right? And provide AI features across the board. starting with, let's suppose, you contact your contact center, right? And you're looking for some assistance. The first thing is you will get validated, right? And with a few seconds of your voice, you will be identified, right? Now, if you didn't have voice authentication, as with most of the, I would say, the calls that you make to contact centers, you spend like over a minute in trying to identify yourself by providing your mother's maiden name and a bunch of other factors that really cost the company a lot. Doesn't really help that much in fraud protection, but at the same time leads to a very poor customer experience, right? So we have a product that automates this, what we call as our Armor 365 product. Post that, we have a product called Automate 365, and this is the most exciting part here, right? So essentially, what we do here is, wherever possible, a bunch of these routine kind of use cases, and now moving to a bunch of complex use cases, we automate the process so that a human element need not necessarily be associated with those use cases, right? So essentially, it's like a platform that makes it easy for you to build bots on any channel, and we are voice first. Lastly, thirdly, on the real-time standpoint, we have a product called Assist 365. So Assist 365 essentially is a product that acts as a co-pilot or an agent assist, right? And in real time, suggests to the agents what next they should do. And this is absolutely fantastic, right? Because this applies to almost every agent around the world, irrespective of the complexity of the customer experience that he has to provide, irrespective of the kind of goals that he has to do. So we work with customers across the board, right from finance companies to healthcare companies all across the world, helping the agents in real time do better, right? And we'll talk more on this and why all this is so exciting with Gen AI coming in. And lastly, we have a post-call analytics product called Aura 365 that tries to find the true voice of the customer, right? And analyzes the customer calls and comes up with the sentiment of the customer, training instructions for the agents, and so on and so forth. And all the stuff is fundamentally Gen AI powered, right? With fundamentally deep tech and powered by a bunch of patents that we have, right? So most important thing for CX, right? I'm going to pause here, right? And the most important things, and talk a little bit about CX, right? The first thing is, why all of us get into this whole thing on cost reduction, get into the whole thing on, hey, how can I, get a better experience for our end customers? Very often, you got to realize that there are multiple stakeholders in this play. The first and most important stakeholder is, of course, the end customer, right? Are you providing the best possible service to that end customer? Anybody here who's even used customer service for things like, say, for example, airline bookings, right? The last time I had a problem with my ticket, right? And I was on wait for 14 minutes. And at the end of the 14 minutes, I just got an IVR. Trust me, the IVR is the biggest impediment to customer experience. The day we get rid of IVR, the whole customer experience process is going to change. And that's where companies like us really come in. And what's really happening is, there are a bunch of ways that you can solve or improve the customer experience here, right? First and foremost, the simplest thing to do is to replace a lot of routine processes that happen with bots rather than having humans take those calls, right? And this could be calls, this could be chats, this could be email, any kind of customer support that you might provide, right? So if there are a bunch of cases that you can automate, that's where the opportunity is. The second opportunity is, which is really the big one, right? And that's to do with what we call as co-pilot or agent assist. And that's a massive opportunity because, for a lot of things, there's a lot of human intelligence involved, right? And you can't actually replace humans in several things yet. For example, if you have a sales call and you have a salesperson that's supposed to negotiate with the customer. It could be negotiation to pay the EMI. It could be negotiation to, sell a product, so on and so forth. And a lot of stuff, while the AI is getting there, it's still not quite in that situation where it can actually replace the human being. And that's where this whole agent assist comes in. I mean, just to take a parallel, right? If you understand of how automation of human tasks happened after the Industrial Revolution, right? So machines came in, and a lot of the productivity improved, and humans started delivering more products in a shorter period of time, right? But did it really happen that one day the robots came in and the humans were replaced with bots? I don't think that really happened. So it took a number of years where you had your machines or your tools, or in the way we put it as bots that work closely with customers, closely with the workers and help them do better. And today, maybe in some shop floors, you do have sections of shop floors taken over by robots. And our treatise is fundamentally that it's going to be fairly similar in the customer experience world. While there are going to be some tasks which may be taken over by bots immediately, a bunch of those tasks will be coexisting with humans to make the end customer experience fantastic, right? You're not going to wait for a couple of 100 years for everything to get automated. It will be much faster than that, but it's still not going to take a few years, right? So I think I'll rest my case by saying that the overall perspective of how Gen AI is helping the customer experience world, whether you take it as your formalized contact center or you take it as, say, an informal receptionist at a healthcare clinic, right? So the overall experience is going to improve. For a number of years, the AI is going to coexist with us, helping us service our customers better. And very slowly, it will start taking over some of the use cases, right? Having said that and set the benchmark for, the rest of the presentation, let me start talking about a couple of use cases. And this is the most common use case today, right? And when Gen AI has come in, the fundamental thing that people asked was, companies said, look, I want to get started tonight, right? Can I get a Gen AI bot on my website, right? Or I have all this data on my, for example, for HR, right? HR operations tends to be a fairly large, bunch of people in large organizations. But even the HR operations often don't know the latest rules. They don't know, they're not updated on what's really happening with, on the strategy front. They don't know what's, a specific rule for a specific employee, right? So that's where this whole knowledge-based bots come in. And this today all across, I would say the corporate world is the biggest use case. And this could be like, for example, since I started with the HR use case, I'll talk about that. Essentially, what it means is that you have, data in disparate elements. It could be our intranet. It could be PDF files. It could be Excels. It could be docs. And what is expected really is that automatically, a bot would be created, multimodal bot in multiple channels, right? Which will, take all this knowledge base, derive the meaning, and come up with, say a bot that can answer any user queries. Now, this bot could directly interact with the end user, or in this case, the employees, or it could work along with the, say, the HR operations folks. And this is absolutely fantastic. And I'll tell you why. People try to do this even in the old school of, NLU, right? For example, what you'd have to do earlier was, have a bunch of these workflows, right? And what you do in these workflows is for example, we offer an automated workflow using any of your past recordings, any of your past data. But if you want to create it manually, right? You offer a drag and drop, low code, no code kind of visual interface to create a workflow. But let's suppose there are like a million workflows in a use case, right? It's going to be very difficult for an organization to go ahead and do that. And that's the big value that GenAI is coming with, right? So I talked about HR, but it could be as simple as a chatbot for a website that works. I know, bunch of companies in the last 10 to 15 years, I try to come up with chatbots. And, I'm sure all of you all have used it, have had a laugh about it, right? Because most of them have been ridiculous, right? I mean, one part is, of course, they were coded badly. The early of the chatbots were based on keywords and not even intent. Even if they mastered, chatbot started being based on intent. Some of the challenges with those were, how many intents could they code, right? So typically they would answer only a few questions. So that's where this whole thing, on GenAI comes in and has really revolutionized a bunch of these things that we do. And how do we do it, right? I mean, how does a company like Yanni solve this problem, right? So is it GenAI that does it? Is it intent-based bots? So what we do from the technology perspective is to have what we call an orchestration. So it's an orchestration of your GenAI, custom-tuned GenAI bot that is built for your application so that there are no hallucinations. The second thing is, are there certain queries that are handled, for example, by your intent-based bot? Right. So, and there'll be an orchestration layer which will decide, who should answer which question. So give you an idea, right? Let's suppose you have a e-commerce store, right? And we were doing something for a global e-commerce store recently, right? Now let's suppose a customer, looks at a chatbot on the store, e-commerce store, and says, "I want to say a blue-colored Air Jordan shoe, or a blue striped Air Jordan shoe." Right. And so this kind of question would typically be taken up by the, intent-based layer, right? Because a customer wants to buy something and you identify the components, right? And, it's not that easy to develop this sort of stuff using drag or any other platform. Let's suppose and this could be done in multiple ways, right? Now let's suppose a customer comes in and he says, "Look, what I need is, I have knee pain, right? And arthritis, and can you suggest the best shoe for me?" That's when you're going to have, the benefits of your, GenAI. And what GenAI is going to really do here is, suggest the best possible shoe based on the characteristics of the shoes. Also understanding that you have knee pain, and if a person with knee pain would like or would, certain types of shoe, for example, maybe with better cushioning would make sense, right? So that's where this whole thing plays in. It's all about an orchestration layer where you have your GenAI components, and then you have also an intent-based layer that works closely along with that. So that's the interesting part about this, So the GenAI, contributes to a lot of very interesting tools, right? Now, the most other interesting thing that I'd like to reiterate again is this whole thing on, how do you improve customer service or customer experience, but making the existing agents do better, right? We talked, about chatbots, we talked about insights, talked about sales support, but hey, the biggest value is in real time, can you suggest to the customer how we can do better, right? It's not post the call, it's not post the activity, it's not like it can only answer specific questions. As a customer, I would call up my customer support and ask any question that I want, right? And my agent should not he's struggling to answer those questions. And that's where this whole thing around agent assist comes in. And GenAI has a huge component to play as, we have a product, for example, called Assist 365. What it really does is, in real time, it suggests the next best response to the agent, right? It coaches the agent on how he should do better, right? It does an automatic summarization of the call, right? And most importantly, there are hints, suggestions, ensuring that there is no compliance issue, improvement in agent efficiency, and also a clear understanding and of customer sentiment, right? Plus, what's more important is automatically data will pop up into the agent screen without this having to go into, I would say multiple of those alternate screens. So there's a huge, huge opportunity there. Let me just play you a video, to showcase the benefits of this Assist 360.
Hi, James. How can I help you today?
I lost my credit card. Can you please help me with that?
Let me pull up your transaction details.
So in this case, customer is going to call in the, say the customer experience help desk and say that he's lost a credit card. And you can see that automatically on the agent screen, he's going to see the next best action, what actions he has to take, understand the sentiment of the customer, and it really helps him answer the customer queries faster, quicker, and resolve the problems without wasting any time. Just listen to this conversation.
Can you please tell me, when did you lose the card?
I lost it yesterday.
Okay, let me pull up your transaction details. I can see that there have been 3 transactions after you lost your card. Can you confirm if you made those transactions?
No, I did not make those transactions.
Okay, let me check that then. So then we'll flag these transactions as unauthorized, and you will be liable to pay for the charges according to the policy we have. Can you pay that?
Can you tell me how much I am liable to pay?
Yeah, sure. Let me check that. So since you have reported within 2 business days that you lost your card, the maximum liability will be $50. Can I go ahead with it?
Can you waive off 2 charges?
Let me check that. Unfortunately, we won't be able to waive off those charges because, according to our policy, we would have to charge you $50 maximum, but that's the best we can do. We can block your card. Can you confirm that for us?
Yeah, I'll block the card.
Okay,
So if you saw on the screen, you had a bunch of these suggestions that came up automatically, and the agents, was able to take a quick decision based on the suggestions that came up. There was also a verbatim text that came up, which helped the agents very quickly take a decision and just read out from the verbatim text if needed. So where does this whole GenAI come in, and what's so great about it for this particular use case, right? So typically, like I told you, one of the challenges with a simple workflow-based model was that you would have to identify each and every workflow that would be presented, right? So the end user could call the customer experience for a bunch of cases. And for each case, you would have to normally write down, or if you use a drag and drop interface, create a workflow. Where the benefits of this, the GenAI really comes in is we are able to launch these products within, I would say, often within 48 hours. So all that we say is, hey, for example, you give us a bunch of your call recordings, right? as soon as we have those call recordings, we automatically create a, a knowledge-based bot, a custom-tuned bot. The fact that we do a custom-tuned bot, right? We also ensure that there are no hallucinations in the bot. Right? And this acts as an engine for our agent assist platform, right? And what really it means is that, the agent assist engine helps the agents in real time now in pulling up data that they would like, in suggesting the next best action, and also if necessary to search for any specific piece of information, so that there is real-time coaching of the agents. And this is a massive, massive opportunity, because every contact center in the world really struggles with things like attrition rates, training of employees, and bunch of other things. So huge opportunities that come in when you look at the agent assist kind of products. So I'm going to move on to a different topic now. Broadly on NLP, right? And this is like, because we're talking about customer experience, and typically a lot of stuff, I get questions on the technology side, where is it helping, right? And one of the key things is that typically in the past, even if you did an intent-based bot, right, people used to generate, the NLP training data manually. And what really it meant is that there is again a delay, again a dependence on the domain knowledge of the person who's creating this data that he uses to train the models for. So that's where the challenges in the past were, which is slowly getting solved. So today in our platform, all the training data is created automatically, and there is a option, fundamentally an option for the person training to exit the data as is, or modify the data if he really needs to do that. Right? So bunch of these opportunities that come in when it comes to things like training data, test data, and a bunch of decision support systems. Right? I'll give you an example of some of the things that we do. We do automated bots for, let's suppose, lending, right? We work with over 30 plus, banking and financial services customers. Right? So what we now do is we are now able to very quickly give a summary of the reasons, let's suppose, that a bunch of customers are not paying their credit card bills, right? Quickly analyze conversations, whether it's a bot conversation or a human conversation, and come up with a bunch of reasons why this problem is happening, and also suggestions on what the company has to do next in order to reduce these defaults, and suggestions of improving various processes automatically. So there's a huge amount of impact that we're seeing, in terms of the whole conversational design world has changed. Is it, and this is a fundamental question that people try to answer, is it the depth of conversational designers, right? This was a great, a great carrier for many people, and they said, hey, now that Gen AI is coming, are you even going to have conversational designers? I think it's not as simple as saying that they are out of business, right? There is still a significant amount of value that conversational designers can have. It may not be that it will be for all conversations, but like I said, most of the conversations today are going to be about, an orchestration of your intent-based bots and your Gen AI bots. But how do you give the prompts for the Gen AI LLMs so that it handles a specific personality, right? So essentially, the best conversational designers are essentially going to move to the higher level, where they're going to help design the right prompts, understand the end, I would say the end customers, understand the users, and come up with the right set of prompts and the right personalities and persona for your bot. So it's not that they are going to go away, but what's really happening today is that there's a great opportunity for them to move to the next level so that they can add a lot more value than they added in the past. So again, another example is cognitive search, right? I mean, anybody who use what, let's suppose, internal organizations, right? A lot of people use like custom search engines, like custom Google search or a bunch of others, where you have to search for keywords. Really not the best experience, right? And what we are doing for a lot of our customers now is a cognitive search. So what it really means is that, feed in the data to us, and then we will help you find answers to your queries through a bunch of questions that you may have, right? And so this is again a huge opportunity where it's changing the ways, people search for content, people search for information, especially within organizations, right? A huge opportunity for, I would say organizations to improve the customer experience to multiple stakeholders. At this point, I'm going to pause at this point. I think I have taken up a significant amount of time and open it up for a few questions, open to answer any questions that you may have on some of the stuff that we've covered so far, and any questions that you may have in this space. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Ganesh. But what are the typical questions people ask in terms of, like, how you said, like, right now, even if like all the solutions which were being prescribed, even small companies also can pick it up.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, so for example, we provide a platform, right? And so people can just pick our platform and start using. If you don't want to use our services, take our platform and you could either design your own bots, design a small chatbot for your website, design, multiple other stuff. So there is a value for this for any organization, irrespective of the size. I'll give you an example. We work with, for example, payment organizations, right? People who have, payment aggregators, right? But we also have some of our customers, some of the merchants themselves, right? Who use these payment, aggregation platforms. So this, there's a huge opportunity to this for people all across the businesses to leverage and, anywhere where you are interacting with customers, interacting with end users, there's a good opportunity for you to make the overall experience much better.
Yeah, we have one question from Hari asking, are there any ethical considerations of using AI in customer interactions?
I think that's an excellent question. Definitely there is, right? And so, for example, what's becoming extremely important is, what's your responsible AI story, right? So in the good old days, if you know that SaaS companies, used to say that, I have SOC 2 certification that will, safeguard customers' privacy, that will safeguard, the customers' data and so on and so forth. But what's becoming extremely important is this whole thing around ethical AI and responsible AI, right? So what kind of data are you training with, right? Are you biased, in your training? So if you are biased in your training in any way, right, it could be for a couple of reasons, right? It could be because you don't have enough data, or you have purposely, biased the data so that, it would answer questions in a certain fashion. And these have, as you expand your realm of operation, this could be, potentially misused in a bunch of ways. So extremely important, that you have a responsible AI process and you stick to that. And we have a documented responsible AI policy. I'm also on the board of, an organization called GPay. That's a global partnership for AI that's trying to come up with responsible AI frameworks for organizations to adopt. So huge opportunities in this sector, but there are also immense ethical considerations.
Yeah, we have an anonymous attendee asking, like, if we can provide any examples of companies successfully using AI in enhancing the customer experience. Maybe what he's trying to ask is, like, like how we told you had this airline booking IVR, like, something which is like, really multi-layered, IVR functions, where people have successfully gone ahead and used AI instead of, the kind of regular chatbots which you are talking about.
So I'll take an example of some of the stuff that we are doing ourselves, right? Firstly, for a very large bank, right? We provide a bunch of I would say AI customer experiences, right? So this could be like firstly as simple as a customer experience or a customer support bot. So people ask questions in a bunch of languages. Typically, the biggest pain point for all of us while calling a bank is that even for routine things, we got to wait for a long time, right? So, for example, it could be as simple as I want I want to know my account balance, or I want to know, can you send me my checkbook, right? So, and it could be any number of these kind of questions. We work with a bunch of large banks where we automatically generate answers to these questions, understanding the customer, and the AI is then interfaces with the appropriate AI APIs within the bank to get the queries answered. So this is really we have been working with some of the large banks. Some of them multilingual conversations. Some of them with we're looking at scale of more than often sometimes even a million transactions a day, right? So huge impact that we see here even on regulated industries, and these are actually more applicable to regulated industry. We work with, for example, healthcare patient engagement across the world, right? So we help customers make sure that patients' access to information is instantaneous, right? And this is like, let's suppose some person wants to book an appointment, right? And if he says, look, I need an appointment from an experienced cardiologist, but I also need that person, to have done operations of this type, right? And and automatically your AI can identify the right person, can and help you book an appointment with that person, with that particular doctor on any channel, right? And we do that all across the board with multiple hospitals in the US, for example. So there are huge opportunities when it comes to AI to experience, to enhance customer experiences. It could be, like I said, twofold, where the AI, is the, I would say, first line of defense and answers the questions. But in many cases, it's also AI, like I talked about, in a co-pilot or an agent assist modes that, sits along with the agent and helps the agent answer better. And this could be in any sector. We work with sectors like, the automotive sector. We work with the financial services sector, the healthcare sector. Irrespective of the sector, these are, opportunities where, you could really, really improve your customer experience. I mean, I can give you an example of an automotive sector. We work with one of the largest automotive companies in the world. As soon as you visit your showroom, right, you get a call, automated call, asking you your experience. Did you find the car that you look for? Did you get a test drive? Making sure that you as a customer were dealt with in the right fashion, right? And at the same time, the company gets a very clear idea on customer demand, which cars are in demand, even before the sale happens, right? So this is like, and in a centralized fashion. So this is like fantastic feedback on early customer response, early issues, and at the same time improving the customer experience in a exponential way.
Yeah, thanks, Ganesh. There's one more question from another anonymous attendee asking, like, are there any metrics kind of like to measure the return of investment if and all they invest in any kind of event-driven customer experience, like, that's a kind of question I think he's asking.
I think the first and foremost important thing is very clear, right? I mean, there has to be ROI, right? I mean, so ROI, the typical ROIs that you see, then that's why you see the first sectors that are taking up these implementations are those in that deal with, say, cash collection or payments, or will deal with say revenue generation or sales kind of use cases, where the ROI is more easy to measure. At the same time, there's an ROI that is used by companies that do customer experience or customer support, right? If it's a customer experience or customer support, again, there's a huge opportunity because you could actually measure how much cost you have saved by using these AI resources. So it has to be ROI based, and if there is no ROI, then organizations are not going to adopt this.
I guess that's just about all the questions we had to answer. And all the participants, please explore more at iabsc.org to know how we can become an authorized training partner with globally recognized certification courses on data science and artificial intelligence. And please explore our website to gain more access to our IABSC resources. So thank you for taking part in our presentation today. And we'll all keep you posted all about the upcoming events on all our social media platforms. And we're looking forward to connecting with you all soon for the coming sessions. Thank you all. And thank you so much for taking time out, Ganesh. I know you're pretty indisposed, but thank you for taking the session today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.